Welcome back everyone. Let's continue working on our I-beam. In the previous video we created our geometry. In this video we're gonna explore all kinds of loading options and how we're gonna constrain it. So to start up, we're gonna apply two different forces at the top. One side I'm gonna apply a force per area, and on the other side I'm gonna apply a pressure. Alright, let's get started. So I'm gonna turn off my work plane. I don't want to see this stuff right here. Just turn it off. Done. There you go. Now, where do we find our loads? To apply a force that is a load, right? Our forces are loads. Go to the load option, and right here we can find them. So I want to apply it to this surface. So click on surface. Give it a title, let's say external forces. Okay, and now what surface are we applying it to? I'm gonna pick this one, highlight it. I'm not sure which one it picked. Okay, good, it picked the correct one. Good. Now on this side I'm gonna apply a force per area. There you go. And I'm gonna apply it. Let's see, we are in the z direction, so I'm gonna put it in the negative z, right? That's what we need. Yeah, negative z direction. So, or actually let me put it in a positive z, so it's pulling on this surface z right here. I'm gonna put it there. We're gonna put like let's say 10 newtons or 10. Remember, Nastran does not use newton units, so you need to make sure that you always enter your values accordingly. So we'll go over that in another video. Let's see, so 10, and that should do it in the z direction, and we want it to stay normal to the surface. Click OK, and there you go. It's gonna show you that that whole surface has a force per area applied to it. Now this one, cancel, we are done with that. Now let's apply another kind of load. We're gonna apply load again on a surface, but this one, make sure we pick the right one. Good. Alright, and in this side I'm gonna apply a pressure. Which unit wise would be the same thing, right? Force per area, pressure, they are both, let's say, Newton per meter, but physically they are different. Pressure is always orthogonal to the surface and always facing the surface. Force per area can't face away. I could have set up this force not necessarily orthogonal, pulling upwards, right? I could have set it up at an angle or some other way. So make sure we don't confuse pressure and force per area, even though the unit is the same. And the pressure, let's see, we can give it a title. We can give it like I don't know, big pressure, let's say, and the value we're gonna give it let's say 100. Just let it have some pressure. Click OK, and there you have it. It applied it. And let's zoom in a little bit. We can see, right? Arrows pointing up on that side, arrows pointing towards the surface on this side. There you go. Very good. Alright, we're done with pressure. Good. Now let's take a look at some other types of options. Let's say you don't know what the normals are to a certain surface that you're working with, maybe a pressure vessel or something. You want to visualize it, right? Let's go to view, options. We'll have this new window open, and we can go to curve, surface direction, show all arrows, apply. Okay, so there you go. All the blue ones, those are parametrization curves, and all the white ones, those are the normals to our surfaces. And we can obviously see that the pressure, we didn't have to give it a direction, right? That we wanted X or Z direction. It's always opposite of the normals to the surface. Good. All right, let's move on. Okay, let's I'm gonna go ahead and turn these off because we're gonna have other arrows added to the image. So I don't want all these arrows to confuse us. There you go. We're back to just the two surface, so the force over area and the pressure that we applied. Now let's do a point force. Okay, back to model, load, and we're gonna apply it to a point. It's gonna be a point force. Let's see, it's gonna ask us what point we want to apply it to. I'm gonna put it, let's see, up on this corner, and I'm gonna put one on this corner too, just for the fun of it. Highlight which one it is. There you go. Click OK, and the window's gonna come. And let's give it a title, upper forces, and then we're gonna, from the list, we're gonna have force. If it's not selected, make sure you select it, and then we can give it direction. So if we would want it to come, let's say, straight this way, that would be along the x-axis. So let's give it another 100, and that should do it. Okay, and if we zoom in, let's see, you can see our two forces nicely showing where we put them. Okay, we don't want to put any more forces, that's good, keep it that way. Now let's add a moment to our structure. So again, I'm gonna add it to a certain point, load, go to model, why do I keep calling it model, on a point, and let's add it here in the middle. We selected it, okay, and right here the force is automatically selected, but I want to add a moment this time, and gonna say it, I don't know, middle moment, to have a title, and we wanna make sure, let's see, we're gonna do it along the x-axis again, right here. So we're gonna add, let's say, I don't know, maybe a 50. Okay, and right there it marked it. Now see the difference. When we apply a moment, it's marked by a double arrow, versus when up here we added a force. See, that's a simple arrow. So make sure you notice the difference between the two in case you see it applied somewhere. Okay, we don't want to add any other moment, or should we? Okay, let's do another one. Let's see, we're gonna, how about let's add two moments at the same knot, huh? We're gonna add another one right here, but this time it's not gonna be along the x-axis. Let's say it's gonna be along 100 will be along the y and 100 along the z. Okay, so there's gonna be two moments applied to that same location. So this is I'm gonna put, let's say, second moment. Okay, let's see what, I'm not gonna add any other ones, so let's see what happened. See, this one's not going along the x-axis anymore, it has a totally different trajectory. Okay, so there you go, that's how we apply moments. Alright, now let's take a look at a distributed load. We're gonna, let's see, which edge should we apply it to. Let's flip it around. Let's work on this edge a little bit. So we're gonna apply a distributed load. Go back to model, load, and this time we're gonna apply it on a curve. Okay, and I'm gonna pick this curve to apply it to. See, that one. Okay, now let's see, D load 1. So force per length, right? Distributed load, force per length. I want it to go downwards. That would be negative z direction. Negative, let's say 100 again. And that should do it. Now, if in case your axis or your vector, your force doesn't align with these major axes, right, then you can write in a vector or other options that are available to you. You can explore them, but we're just gonna go with the simple ones over here. So there you go, negative 100 in the downward direction. If you zoom in, you can see it on the edge displayed all the way down. All right. We can even apply forces on curved surfaces, not just in straight places. So let's do model, load. We're gonna do another curve. Let's see, we're gonna select this one and this one. Just for the fun of it, highlight it, there you go. Good. Let's do another force per length. I'm gonna just name it 2. And this one I'm gonna go across in the negative or positive y direction. Let's say 200. Okay, and there you have it. Hope you guys can see it. If I zoom in, you can see it highlighted and on top and bottom layers. Good. Okay, those were our loads. Now let's take a look at our constraint. In the same place, under model, instead of load, right under it we have constraint. Let's apply some constraints on point. Let's see, boundary conditions, so B, C, and let's find some points to apply it to. I'm gonna go to this point and that point. Okay, highlight it if you want to make sure. Okay, now let's say left bottom. So we have some standard options, or if you don't have your option here, you can set up your own down here. So up here we have the first ones, 3 fixed. That means nothing's allowed, no translation, no rotation, right? Then we have the pin where we don't allow translation, and then we have the option where translation is allowed but no rotation. Okay, and down here, let's say I will need this one and this one. It's some strange setup that that can happen. So whenever you toggle it on, that means you fix it. So translation in X is zeroed out, rotation in Y is zeroed out. These ones are allowed to move, these two are not. Okay, here I'm gonna put pinned. Okay, so okay, now we have constraint. We're not gonna apply anything else right now. And right here on the left side, you can take a look at the model info, and over here all the loads and constraints that we setting up here, you can come and check them out. The constraint that we just added, constraint left bottom, see all the loads that we added earlier, external loads, that was the name we gave to the file or the group. Load definitions, see, these are our loads: middle moment, second moment, big, upper forces. You can find them if you click on it and come down. Let's say editor. Oh wait, come on, there you go, there you go. Then you can see what did we do. You can do a right click on it and edit load, for example. You go back to the same screen and you can change it, edit. Let's say I want change my mind, I want 200. Right, there you go, you updated it. Okay, now let's go back to our constraint. So where was our constraint? Right here. This is the left bottom. This is our constraint. Why can't we not see it? So maybe we have it turned off. To go to view, visibility. Yeah, we have it turned off. So remember when we came here and we turned everything off, we should maybe turn it back on. So, or if you don't want all of it, then just find constraint, constraint. There you go. It displayed your T. I want maybe the constraints, body loads, or other options. Yeah, all on. If you leave it, then you're just gonna every surface, line, node, everything is gonna have its identity displayed. So there you go. This is my T. T shows that we put a pin, basically no translation, right? T, T. Okay, let's apply another constraint to some other edge, maybe here on the other side. What happens if we add a constraint to this edge right here? Okay, so model constraint on a curve. I'm gonna pick this curve right here. Okay, I'm gonna put I don't know, side, and none of these match. Let's say I wanted to have an arbitrary tx tz, and maybe rotation in the r is allowed, is zeroed out. Click R, and then if we zoom in, we can see that it marked each of its numbers that we restricted, right? If you don't know 1, 2, 3, 5 what they mean, well, let's go back. Let's try to apply another, just so we can bring the dialog box back up. So see, 1, 3, and 5, these are numbers that represent these 6 options: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if I would pick I don't know, 2 and 6, then that's what it's gonna display right here, 2 and 6, right? So that's what the numbers mean. When it put a T for us, that just means that the translation is restricted. So 1, 2, 3. Instead of putting 1, 2, 3, some older versions of the software used to do that, but now they just put a T. Okay, let's take a look. Let's apply another constraint, but at this time I want to apply a constraint on an area that does not exist yet. So I want to constrain only half of this web, or what is it, flange, half of this flange of the I-beam, and I cannot do that because this is an entire surface. If we apply a constraint or even a load, it will apply it to the whole thing. So first we need to partition this surface in order for it to recognize it. So let's do geometry, line, and let's do an offset. Okay, we're gonna take this curve and we're gonna offset it. We're gonna offset it in the x direction, so keep it positive, select axis, and how far, let's I don't know, let's do 3. There you go. Well, not exactly half, but you guys get the picture. So 3. But right now this is still one piece of a plate, right? I want to cut it in half to make sure it understands that there are two different surfaces. For that, geometry, curve from surface, and project. Okay, so you're gonna take project, select surface to project on to. That means the big one, right? Let's highlight it. Did it select the correct one? Yes, good. So the whole bottom of this half. Okay, select curve to project. That was this one. Select it, highlight it. There you go. Good. Correct one selected. Okay. Now we have two distinct surfaces. If we want to check, go to Control Q, visibility, labels, turn everything off, and have only the surface on. Now we know. See, we have two different surfaces. They have two different identities. Now we can go ahead and constrain it. Go to Model, Constraint on a surface, and now we can select the surface that we want to work with. I want only this side, highlight it, good. Alrighty, and I want completely fixed it, so let's say I'm going to call it the foot. Okay, and here we go. We can see it marked it. Very good, we have it. If we want to go to our constraint right there, foot, put it even there, and here we can check details about them. See, there you go. Whenever you want to check, see, remember the 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. Here you can see which one is turned on and which one's off. When it says true, that means it's toggled on, so it's zeroed out. False, that means it's not. Okay, so here we can see we did 2 and 6. Alright, I hope everybody enjoyed this little introduction to forces and constraints, loads and constraints. Let's do one fast, all on. There you go. And we can see the fix that we just added here at the end. See, all FFF. Alright, very good. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, and watch the next video to get your skills even better. Have a good one, everyone.